Lucky Broken Girl by Ruth Farr. Part 1. Miss Hopscotch, Queen of Queens. Chapter 1. I am not dumb. When we lived in Cuba, I was smart. But when we got to Queens in New York City in the United States of America, I became dumb just because I couldn't speak English. So, I got put in the dumb class in 5th grade at PS 117. It's the class for the bobos, the kids who failed at math and reading. Also in it are the kids the teachers call delinquents. They come to school late and talk back and are always chewing gum. Even though they're considered the bad kids, most of them are nice to me. Here, Ruthie, have some chiclets, they whisper and pass me a handful. We aren't supposed to chew gum in school, so we hold the chiclets in our mouth until we go outside for recess. Then we chew the chiclets to death and stick the gook on the bottom of our desks when we come back inside. Most of the kids know I'm in this class because I'm from another country, not because I really belong there. Or maybe I do belong there? It's been 8 months since school started, and our teacher promised I wouldn't be in the class for long. I am not dumb. I am not dumb. I am not dumb. The first time I worked up the courage to raise my hand in class was a few weeks after we arrived from Cuba, and I was wearing flip-flops instead of shoes and socks like the other kids. But when our teacher, Mrs. Sirota, called on me to answer the math problem, I didn't have the words to say the number in English. "Well, Ruth?" she asked, staring down at my bare feet. "Do you know the answer or not?" I froze, and a few kids laughed at me, but not Ramu. He's not dumb either. Ramu is in our class because he's also from a different country. He comes from India and was raised there by his grandmother, who only speaks a language called Bengali. His parents came to New York first, and after they made enough money, they brought Ramu and his little brother Avik here. Ramu has picked up English faster than I have because his parents they already know English and force him to speak it at home. Mine are always yelling, "Habla español," especially Mommy, who can understand a little English but is usually too embarrassed to speak it. Ramu is skinny and bows his head when anyone talks to him. I'm his only friend, and that's because he lives down the hall from us on the 6th floor of our apartment building. Ramu brings Avec to school, and I bring my brother, Izzy. Our little brothers are in the same kindergarten class, but after school, Ramu and Avec rush straight home. Mrs. Sharma doesn't let them play with the other children. Their apartment smells different from ours. I get whiffs of it whenever we stumble into each other on the way to school. Today, when Ramu and Avec stepped into the hall, Izzy and I were waiting for the elevator, and I asked, "What is that perfume?" "It's my mother's curry," Ramu says. "What's curry?" "A spice. It makes everything taste good, even cauliflower." "That's amazing." "Yes, it is. And my mother burns sandalwood incense. She says it's good for meditation, and the spirits like it too." "Spirits?" "People who used to be alive when they are not alive anymore become spirits. My grandmother says they are all around us. We can't see them because they watch over us. Of course, spirits don't eat, but they can smell fragrant things like curry and incense." During lunch at the cafeteria, Ramu offers me something from his lunchbox. A pastry filled with mashed potatoes his mother made. "It's a samosa," Ramu tells me. "Maybe you'll find it too spicy." Some kids at the table pretend to hold their noses. One says, "It smells like sweaty armpits." "No, it doesn't," I shout back. I take a slow bite. It tastes like a paparelleno, a crispy stuffed potato my nanny Caro made for me as a snack in Cuba. Eating Ramu's samosa makes me feel like Caro and Cuba aren't so far away. "It's really good, thanks, Ramu." Ramu gives me a shy smile. "Very glad you like it." I beg Mommy to make pastelitos de guayaba after Izzy and I get home. The following day, I give Ramu one of my sweet pastries at lunch. "The filling is guava fruit. I hope you like it," I tell him. Ramu eats it slowly, without saying a word. When he's done, he finally says, "I like guavas. We have them in India, too." And I sigh. "And do you have mangoes in India?" "Oh, yes, drippy sweet mangoes, just like in Cuba." "I don't miss the mangoes," Ramu says. "I miss being able to go outside and play with my friends. My mother worries too much about us. She doesn't let us do anything by ourselves." "I know what you mean. In Cuba, even when I was 5 years old, my mother used to let me take a taxi all by myself to go visit my Aunt Zoya, who used to sew pretty dresses for me. Can you imagine?" "Yes, Here everything is different, he says with a faraway look in his eyes. But maybe one day we'll both get to taste mangoes in India and Cuba, I say, trying to cheer him up. Oh, Ruthie, I like that you have such an imagination. Ramu and I sit together every afternoon after lunch period so we can practice our English. Our favorite story is The Princess Who Could Not Cry, about a princess who is placed under an evil spell and forgets how to cry. She laughs at everything, even sad things. When they toss away all the toys she loves from the tallest tower of the castle, she laughs even though she feels terrible. A little ragged girl arrives and announces, "I've come to help the princess cry." The queen tells her, "Promise me you won't hurt my daughter." The little ragged girl curtsies and replies, "I promise, your majesty, I will bring no harm upon your daughter. I just want to help her." She goes into a room with the princess and draws 2 onions out of her bag. "Let's peel these onions," the little ragged girl tells the princess. As the little ragged girl and the princess pull apart the layers of the onions, the tears start pouring from both their eyes. That is how the princess learns to cry. The evil spell is broken, and the little ragged girl and her poor mother are given a nice house next to the castle, where they live happily ever after. "That is the best story," I say to Ramu as we finish reading. "Yes, it is very fine," he replies, "very fine indeed." "Ramu, you always talk such a fancy English, like they do in England. It's the Queen's English, you see." "Yes, and now we live in Queens," I say, joking. "Very charming, Ruthie. That's almost funny." "Let's ask Mrs. Sirota to test us," I tell Ramu. "But will you ask her, Ruthie, please? You see, in India, we don't talk to the teacher unless the teacher talks to us." "Okay, I will ask. I'm not afraid of the teacher." Mrs. Sirota comes to our desk and I say, "Me and Ramu are ready to switch into the smart class." In English, we say Ramu and I. Me and Ramu is incorrect. I don't lose my courage. I repeat, "Ramu and I are ready to switch into the smart class." "Is that so, young lady? Both of you?" "Yes. Yeah, Mrs. Sirota," I reply, trying to keep from giggling. Mrs. Sirota wears her hair in a big bird nest on top of her head, and today it's lopsided. "Very well, young lady. Which of you can spell the word commiserate?" Ramu gets it wrong, but I get it right. 2 M's and only 1 S. She doesn't ask, but I also know what the word means. To commiserate is to feel sorry for somebody else's bad luck. "Very good, Ruth. I agree you're ready to be promoted, but remember to say yes rather than yeah. On Monday you can join the regular 5th grade class." I see Ramu gazing sadly toward the floor. It's not fair. He's much better at English than I am. He talks like the Queen of England herself. "Please, Mrs. Sirota, can you give Ramu another chance? Give him a harder word and see if he can spell it. Please?" Mrs. Sirota's eyes suddenly sparkle. "You said the magic word, please. Ramu, can you spell the word souvenir?" I would have gotten that word wrong, but Ramu knows how to spell it right. "Excellent job, Ramu. You are also promoted," Mrs. Sirota says. "On Monday, you and Ruth can join the regular 5th grade class." "Mrs. Sirota, you are very kind," Ramu says in his most polite voice. Ramu gives me one of his shy smiles, and that is enough of a thank you for me. I knew I wasn't dumb. I knew Ramu wasn't dumb either. It's Friday. After the weekend, when we come back to school, both of us will be in our new class with the smart kids. Yippee! I collect my school books and say goodbye to the other kids. One of them looks sad that I'm leaving and gives me some chiclets. "You may need them." I wish all the kids could come with Ramu and me to the smart class. I don't think any of them are really dumb. They just find school boring. They'd rather play all day. In a chorus, they call out, "Bye, Ruthie, bye. Study hard or they'll send you back here again." Chapter 2, Go-Go Boots. The buildings on our street are made of old bricks, and they all look exactly the same. If you don't know the number of your building, you're lost. My brother Izzy and I know our building by now, but we still walk home together from school holding hands, as if we got to New York only yesterday. The lawns have gone from snowy white to blotchy brown to a hopeful green color, and dandelions are sprouting on them. I wish I could run barefoot in the grass the way I did in Havana. There was a park nearby that had a giant banyan tree that you could lie under and curly grass that tickled your toes when you ran through it. But most of the lawns here have wire fences around them that will cut your fingers if you touch them, and signs that say, "Keep off the grass." We are near our building when a girl named Danielle calls out, "Ruthie, Ruthie," and catches up to us. Danielle is from Belgium and acts very sophisticated. She has silky black hair that reaches to her shoulders and flips perfectly. She looks like she could be on TV. With my messy ponytails and dress from the bargain basement, I feel like the fairy tale's ragged girl with a basket of onions when I'm around Miss Mademoiselle Danielle. Today she has on a lace-trimmed beige blouse and a pleated blue skirt, and she's wearing new go-go boots. Black go-go boots! She also just arrived in New York, but they put her in the smart class because she speaks French and English. "Do you want to play hopscotch?" Danielle says. "Yeah," I reply. "I always want to play." "Très bien," she says and smiles. Danielle crosses the street, walking so elegantly in her black go-go boots to a building as drab and dreary as ours. Before she disappears, she turns and waves. "See you out here in a minute." Izzy and I race each other to see who gets into the elevator first. I get there a second before him and press the button for the 6th floor. And as the door closes, we are panting and breathless. We can't wait to change out of our school clothes and go out and play. We have the whole weekend. No school till Monday. Yippee! As soon as we step into our apartment, I can smell the sweet rose scent of Mommy's Maja soap, which comes wrapped in tissue paper with a picture of a Spanish flamenco dancer in a red and black gown, and Poppy's Old Spice, which he splashes on his cheeks before going to work. Mommy is waiting for us at the door and gives us a hug and a kiss. She always looks so pretty, as if she's going to a party. She's wearing her clothes from Cuba, a polka dot dress with buttons down the front and a wide leather belt, and she's got her high heels on and red lipstick. "A wife has to always look her best when her husband comes home," she always says. "Mommy, you got lipstick on me," Izzy yells, wiping the stain off his cheek. "I'm sorry, mi niño. It's just that I am always so happy to see you," she tells us in Spanish. Mommy points to the dining table, set up with 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and 2 glasses of chocolate milk. "We just want to go out and play," Izzy complains. "If you don't eat, you'll faint," Mommy tells him. "Savannah Desmar, Mayar." We gobble up our sandwiches and chug down our milk while Mommy stands over us trying to get us to slow down. "Niños, no se apuran tanto." But nothing can keep Izzy and me locked in the house while the sun is shining. We jump up from our seats, change into our play clothes, and rush to the door. I remember to grab some chalk and toss it into my jacket pocket. Mommy stops us and reminds us not to be home late. Our hands must be clean, and we must be smiling and ready to kiss Poppy the minute he walks in the door or he gets angry. Off we go, finally. Izzy says, "I'll race you. I'll run down the stairs and you take the elevator." "Okay, Izzy. Let's see who gets there first." Sure enough, Izzy gets to the first floor just as the elevator door opens. "Wow, you did it, Izzy!" My little brother looks so proud of himself. He's cute with his crooked bangs and missing front tooth. "Now let's see if I can beat the other boys at tag. They're really fast," he says, sounding worried. "You will, Izzy. You will." And he scurries off to the back, an alleyway behind our row of buildings where the boys chase each other for hours and hours. Blue and pink chalk in hand, I claim the sidewalk in front of our building for my hopscotch board. I bend down to sketch out the squares for the game and add flowers at the 4 corners. When I look up from my drawing, Danielle is there. "What a pretty hopscotch you're making, Ruthie." Danielle is looking so stylish in her fancy school clothes. Isn't she worried she'll get them dirty? Won't her mother scold her then? But what makes me the most jealous is that Danielle is still wearing her black go-go boots, and I have on my old sneakers with the holes forming around my big toes. I've been begging Mommy for a pair of go-go boots ever since we've seen the blonde lady on TV wearing them and singing that song, "These Boots Are Made for Walking." And I can't stop humming that catchy tune. "These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you." Now Danielle, looking so grown up in her black go-go boots, announces, "I'll go first." Ava and June, who live in the building next door, come to play with us. They are plain American girls. They only speak English. They never dream about a lost, beautiful island. They're surprised when they hear me talking Spanish with Mami. Why do you talk another language? They ask me. Because we're from Cuba, that's why. Oh, they reply and don't know what else to say. They stare at Danielle as she hops from square to square on the hopscotch in her go-go boots, light as air. I'm not light like Danielle, but I am strong, and I get 2 squares farther up on the hopscotch. Danielle doesn't mind. She smiles and said, "Very nice, Ruthie. You are excellent at hopscotch. You are Miss Hopscotch, Queen of Queens." She says the word hopscotch, extending the sh sound at the end of the word with a French accent, and it makes it sound glamorous. Ava and June take turns after Danielle and me. The four of us keep playing one round after another. I throw the stone farther and leap higher than Danielle, Ava, and June. Yes, yes! I am Miss Hopscotch, Queen of Queens. Yippee! We don't stop playing until the sky grows dark and loses all its blueness. I'm happy being Miss Hopscotch, Queen of Queens, but I still wish I had go-go boots. Guess what, Danielle, I say. What, Ruthie? I'm moving to your class on Monday. Really? C'est magnifique. These words just roll off Danielle's tongue. Then she glances at her watch. She's the only girl I know who wears a watch, and the wristband is a gleaming gold bracelet. Excuse me, my friends, I must go. My mother is expecting me for dinner. She skips away in her black go-go boots, and halfway down the block she turns around and smiles at me. Bye, Cherie. Bye. Bye. Chapter 3. Stop crying about Cuba. When Mamie sees me all sweaty from playing hopscotch, she shakes her head. Ruthie, wash your face and hands, and put on a clean dress. Then come help me with dinner. Danielle wore her nice clothes to play hopscotch, and she had on new go-go boots. Mommy frowns and says, Mi niña, don't start that again. You know we can't afford go-go boots. Mommy is always reminding me how hard Poppy works to pay the rent. We just have one bedroom in our apartment, and Mommy and Poppy gave it to Izzy and me. They got a Castro convertible sofa for themselves that doubles as a bed. Every night, Mommy pulls open the sofa and makes the bed, tucking the sheets into the wire frame that scratches her hands, and every morning she turns it back into a sofa, folding it up like an accordion. She sighs when she opens and closes the sofa. Mummy misses Cuba, where we had an apartment with 2 bedrooms and a balcony that looked out at the ocean and let in the breezes and the sunshine. She misses standing on the balcony and lowering the basket down with a rope for the peddler to fill up with pineapples and coconuts. She misses the people who smile at you in the street, even if they don't know who you are. And she misses the tall palm trees that tickle the sky. Now she and Poppy have to sleep in an uncomfortable sofa called Castro, the name of the man who stole their country from them. Sometimes Mummy's sadness gets so bad she can't hold back her tears, but she mostly cries when Poppy isn't home. He gets angry when she cries. I want to hear Mummy laugh again like she used to when we lived in Cuba. In the bedroom, I notice my rag doll is missing. She usually sits on my bed on top of my pillow. I run back to the kitchen. Mummy, where's my doll from Cuba? It was falling apart. Didn't you notice the stuffing had come out and was getting all over everything? But where is it? I threw it in the garbage. Mommy, why? That was my doll from Cuba. We'll get you another doll when we have a little money. Now hurry up and get changed so you can help me. Mommy, that was so mean. You should have asked me first. I knew I was getting too old to go sleep cuddling a doll, but with her in my arms, I felt that Cuba wasn't so far away. Now she is gone, and I feel like I could cry. But I want to be strong, not weak and sad like Mamie, so I try to cheer myself up. I decide to put on my frilly dress that has layers of lace. It's the dress I wore when we left Cuba a year ago. I dig around in the closet but can't find it. Mummy, where's my dress from Cuba? I gave that dress to Sylvia so your cousin Lily can get some use out of it. But that was my favorite dress, I scream. Don't yell at me. And don't be selfish. You know that dress didn't fit you anymore. That's not true. I could squeeze into it. I just had to hold my breath. You kept tearing the seams, and I got tired of stitching them back together. Mommy, why are you taking all the things from Cuba? I feel the tears coming out of my eyes, but I make them stop. Ruthie, stop arguing. You're wasting time. Poppy will be here any minute. Dinner has to be ready when he comes in the door. Mummy has cooked a big pot of arrozo con pollo, the rice yellow and soupy, with pieces of chicken mixed in it. She scoops it out spoonful by spoonful and creates a huge mound on a long oval platter. She sees me watching her and reaches over and hugs me. Ruthie, I'm sorry I threw out your doll and gave away your dress from Cuba. But I'm trying to forget Cuba. Do you understand? I guess, Mummy, I sigh. Even when Mummy does something wrong, I can't stay angry with her for long because I feel sorry for her. That big word I had to spell today to get out of dumb class is how I feel about Mummy. I am always trying to commiserate with her. Can I decorate the arroz con pollo? Sí, mi niña. I take glass slices of red pepper Mommy has roasted in the oven and green peas from a giant can and arrange them on the mound of arrozo con pollo. I create swirls with the peppers and circles with the peas. As I am finishing up, Izzy walks in with his clothes all caked with mud. Hurry and wash your face and change out of those filthy clothes before Poppy arrives, Mommy says. We are always afraid of upsetting Poppy, so it's a big surprise when Poppy comes home with a smile on his face. He's been to the barber shop and had his curly hair and thick mustache trimmed. What is that he's carrying? It's a shopping box. For you, Ruthie. A gift for me? A box? Could it be? Yes! White go-go boots. They fit just right. Gracias, Papi, gracias. I give him a kiss on the cheek. He asks me to give him a hug, too. I give him a hug and says, I love the boots, Papi, but didn't they have black ones? Papi says black go-go boots are for grown-ups, senoras. You're a good girl. White boots are better for a good girl. Promise me you'll always be a good girl. See, Poppy, see. Poppy pulls a small package out of his suit pocket, and this is for Izzy. Izzy is so happy he rips open the package. Inside is a Matchbox toy car, a blue Cadillac. Izzy adores playing with cars. He jumps into Poppy's arms and yells, Gracias, Poppy, gracias, and kisses Poppy's cheek. I'm glad you like the car, mi niño, but don't kiss me, okay? You can kiss your mommy, but not your Poppy. Men don't kiss each other. Men shake hands. Poppy's good mood makes everything at home much better. I love my go-go boots. I decide the white boots are nicer after all. I wish I could run outside in the night and dance around in them. Because they are white boots, they would glow in the dark like two moons. I can't wait to show them off to Danielle, Ava, and June, and all the girls at school. Can I wear my go-go boots now, Poppy, while we eat dinner? Go ahead, mi niña. Enjoy them. Poppy says, loosening his tie and taking his seat at the head of the table. I cross my legs under the table and feel the left boot greeting the right boot. My boots have heels. Leaning back in my chair, my feet now touch the floor, and that makes me feel very grown up. We aren't very religious, but today Mommy bought a challah. Poppy recites the Hebrew blessing, and then he tears a piece of bread for all of us and says, We are lucky to live in a free country and have this bread to eat. Mommy brings out the arroz con pollo from the kitchen. Look, Papi, I decorated it. Muy bien, Ruthie, muy bien. I'm glad you're helping your mother. Mommy serves Poppy first, then me and Izzy, and herself last. But Poppy won't eat. He looks disappointed at the food on the plate. Rebecquita, mi amor, isn't there a chicken breast you could give me? No chicken breast today. I got drumsticks. They were cheaper. But you know I don't like dark meat. I'm sorry. I thought that mixed in with the rice you would like it. I'll just eat the rice. Alberto, I don't want to say this, but Ruthie didn't need a new pair of boots right now. May is almost here, and Izzy has plenty of toy cars. That's all it takes for Poppy's temper to flare. He slams his fist on the table and yells, Who are you to question my decisions? I am the man in this house. I earn me money, and I spend it as I please. You said our daughter dreamed of owning go-go boots, so I got them for her. And our little boy loves cars, and I think that's good. I'm sorry. I can't do anything right, Mommy replies in a voice so small it fades away. I feel bad for Mommy, but I don't want to give up my go-go boots. I jump up and say, Wait, I have an idea. I rush to the bedroom and come back with my piggy bank. It's stuffed with pennies. Here, look, I have money. Put that away, Poppy says gruffly. Enough talk of money. We finish our dinner in silence. Mommy, Izzy, and I eat everything on our plates. Poppy angrily picks his way through the arroz con pollo, pushing the pieces of chicken to the edge of his plate. As she tiptoes around Poppy cleaning the table, Mommy says, I invited the family over for dessert. They'll be here soon. You should have asked me first, Poppy replies. What if I don't feel like seeing anyone right now? But it's too late. The doorbell rings, and there are my grandparents, Baba and Siad. Behind them are Aunt Sylvia and Uncle Bill, who were born in the Bronx and we call El Americano, and my cousins Dennis and Lily, who are twins and the same age as Izzy and just as wild as him. Baba and Ziad live on the third floor. Sylvia, Bill, Dennis, and Lily live on the fourth floor. They don't have to travel far to visit us. Todos cuinaron un cafecito? Mommy asks, her eyes lighting up, and all the grown-ups say yes. Mommy serves the Cuban coffee in tiny cups that look like toy cups. We children don't have any Cuban coffee. It's too strong. Delicioso, Rebecca, says Uncle Bill with his thick American accent. Ziad reaches into his suit pocket and pulls out 4 Tootsie Rolls. He always carries candies in his pockets for us. Guiran Carmelos Kinderle? He asks. Zed was born in Russia, and he mixes Spanish and Yiddish when he talks. We all say yes, and each take a Tootsie Roll from the palms of his large hands and give Ziad a hug. Mommy serves everyone thick slices of her gooey flan. The topping is made of burned sugar that tastes sweet and also a little bitter. Hermanita, you make the best flan of anyone I know, Aunt Sylvia says in English. So Uncle Bill and Dennis and Lily understand since they don't speak Spanish. Then she adds, muy rico. Mommy smiles her sad smile. Not as good as the flan I used to make in Cuba. The sugar isn't the same here, and the milk is so watery. Baba doesn't like it when Mummy complains. Listen to me, mi hija. The flan is just as good in Cuba. Let's forget we ever lived there, she says in Spanish. Then, to show off her English that she's learning in night school, she adds, My darling daughter, she needs to understand it is necessary to go forward, not back. Uncle Bill, with his booming voice, says, Aren't you glad you're in a free country? Poppy shakes his head and sighs. He tries to speak English but mixes in Spanish. My wife no sabe appreciate that she can complain all she wants because she's in America. Este es un país libre, the best country in the world. Mommy wipes her tears with her embroidered Cuban handkerchief that I think is too beautiful to soil with her sadness. I try to make things better by saying, Guess what? Look, I have new go-go boots. They're so beautiful, Ruthie, Lily says and turns to Aunt Sylvia. Mommy, I want boots just like Ruthie's. You're too little for boots like that, Aunt Sylvie says. You're only 5 years old. Wait till you're older. Maybe Ruthie will give you her boots when she outgrows them, like she gives you her dresses. Aunt Sylvie winks at me. Ruthie, you, when they're too small for you? I will, I promise, and I'll take good care of them so they'll be good as new, okay, Lily? Lily nods. I guess so, but I want to grow up fast. You will, sweetie, says Uncle Bill, faster than you can sing Skip to My Lou. Then I remembered I haven't shared my good news. Mommy, Poppy, Uncle Bill, Aunt Sylvia, Baba, Ziad. Guess what? I've been promoted to the smart class. I'll start on Monday. Isn't that great? Very good, Ruthie. Uncle Bill says you're really picking up English. The teacher tested me with a hard word to spell, commiserate, and I got it right. That is a hard word. Do you know what it means? Uncle Bill asks. It means to feel sorry for someone else's bad luck. That's right, Ruthie. You are a heck of a lucky girl. You are lucky your parents brought you to America. Study hard, and you'll go far in this country. Thank you, Uncle Bill. Don't thank me, honey. Thank your father for bringing you here. I look at Poppy, who is nodding and smiling. Then I look at Mommy. Her eyes are lowered. I want to commiserate with her like I always do, but I think Poppy and Uncle Bill are right. It's time for Mommy to stop crying about Cuba. I go to Mommy and put my arms around her. As I'm hugging her, I reach over and pull the handkerchief out of her hand. Mommy, will you give this ponello to me? I don't have my doll or my frilly dress anymore. I want to keep something to remember Cuba. She whispers to me in Spanish. Keep it, mi niña. Keep it. We will both try to forget Cuba. We're in America now. No more tears, mi niña. Just a bright, happy future. I see Mommy smile and swallow her tears. I just hope we can live up to her brave words.